If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others.
Grab your popcorn and sit back.
Jump the gun. Oh, no, give me more than that. Okay, go this way. That was dumb. We are.
How could I tell you when nobody wants to? Your faded words I would choke.
Happy Monday to everyone in the sports universe. It is June the 20th, 2022. This is the AM Drive on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, and we are live. For Aaron Crouch, I am Michael Carvalho saying, Aaron, how was your weekend, sir?
Overall, it was a good weekend. I enjoyed some nice R&R, but the hockey game didn't go so well, obviously.
Yeah, that's the elephant in the room here. What did you watch besides hockey? There wasn't much sports. Okay, let me lie. There was a U.S. Open, NL Finals, and Stanley Cup Final, but it seems still like there wasn't much going on because the hockey game was just so boring.
So, boring's the right word, I don't know, because, I mean, the way the Avalanche bodied the Lightning this weekend was pretty incredible to watch. And I can say that objectively, even being a fan. Like, watching sometimes some great teams put on displays like that is still pretty awesome to see. And,
Right.
you know, I got a little razz from you guys, got a little razz from other people, and I'm just like, look, they can score 100 in this game. It's just one game.
Right.
Like, everybody's talking about how game one was ridiculous, and yes, the Avalanche got out to an early lead in that game, and Tampa came back. But let's not forget, game one went to overtime. Let's not act like Colorado's just been on display for two straight games. No, even their own coach said it. Bednar said it. He said, look, we almost gave the game away in game one, and we played basically a perfect game in game two. And look, they did exactly what they're supposed to do: win two home games. Everybody is overreacting to this, and I'll talk about this in a little bit here, obviously, but let's just calm down on that. But other sports, I did catch the finale of the NLL Championship, the NLL Cup, and I have to say, what a performance by the Colorado Mammoth. Shout out to our guy, Andrew McBride, and the rest of that team, losing two of their top players and still finding a way to beat those big, bad Buffalo Bandits. I got to say, that was a pretty intense – I caught it about halftime, second half, and I'd say that was a pretty intense game between those two. And kudos, hats off, shout out to the Colorado Mammoth, NLL Cup champions.
Shout out Dan Lattisori, who called it out as well in May.
Yeah, like that. May was last month.
Yeah, but it was still like a month ago before all this even started. So
I mean, we looked at them this year, picking games, talking to teams, watching the games, and they were a quality team in the West. I mean, they just were. I mean, San Diego seemed to have a lot of problems, or what they, false fronts, I guess you could say. And Colorado seemed like, even though they did lose some ugly ones, they had some really good victories. And it shocks me more because of the talent they lost, but it doesn't shock me that Colorado is hoisting the cup, even though I thought Buffalo was just head and shoulders above the rest of the league. But we saw toward the end of this NLL season, like, Buffalo looked human as well, too.
Fair enough. Price match for our merchandise at AM Drive to Online. If you find merchandise from another podcast that is lower than ours, we'll match it for you and take the losses. So last night we took an L, but tonight we bounced back. Go to AM Drive to Online. Yes! The 3-pack is back. And here's this little 2-pack right here, maroon hoodie. Even though Aaron doesn't like the maroon.
I don't hate it. I'm not a huge fan of it. I like the Carolina blue one, but they don't have my size.
Blue, baby. I know, me neither. What was your worst of the weekend, by the way?
So my worst of the weekend actually was one reason I didn't really catch too much of the golf coverage was actually the U.S. Open reporting. A lot of it seemed to take more of a schoolyard bully attempt at just basically smack talking the live players. How do you call that? Live or live? LIV.
LIV 54.
Right. So I think that realistically, this major tournament couldn't have come at a more perfect time they couldn't have gotten a better result considering all of the LIV players basically shit the bed. And they chose to dwell on the LIV situations in print and in media. I watched a little bit of the coverage, and instead of hyping up their league, Rory McIlroy has seemed to become this beacon of conscience, like the beacon of what do you call it? Like the conscientious saint. No, I don't know about wokeness, but he seems to have become the patron saint of the PGA Tour. And frankly, it's getting a little bit ridiculous, in my opinion, that they're choosing to take the avenue of pile on the new kid versus, hey, look what we have still in our arsenal. And yes, I got Scotty Scheffler wrong. I don't know who I was thinking of. Maybe I was thinking of DeChambeau when we talked about him last week. But, why don't you accentuate the product you still have? The fact that Matty Fitzpatrick could become an up-and-coming golfer and stop dwelling on the guys like Phil Mickelson and Dustin Johnson and not Bryson, but Brooks Koepka. They decided to dwell on Brooks Koepka, which it does look like he's on his way out. I mean, he's a guy that probably cares more about the money than the accolades. He's got his 4 major titles. What does it matter anymore? Like, none of these guys are getting to 14 and 18 titles. Like, so just go get the money and leave him alone. Like, yes, like Brandel Chambly every day on Twitter is just nauseating. Like, take a day off from this shtick. Like, you take money from a company, and if another company came and offered you more money that may have been a little less than desirable, say Fox came and offered Brandel Chambly double his salary, I can't see a spot where Brandel Chambly doesn't take the money. So who are you to call out these other people? Because, I mean, we have no problem taking Chinese money in this country, but all of a sudden Saudi money is a problem? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And they really clouded a large-scale major tournament and a breakout victory for a young star because of their own personal sense of agenda. And I thought it was disgusting, and really it was hard for me to watch.
That's a good point. I don't want to get too much into that because we don't have much time, but I can see both sides, but I'm still on the side of LIV is still weird. It seems like a money grab at this point for these guys. It doesn't seem authentic.
Well, it 100% is.
Even the Saudi thing gets on my nerves when that's the only reason they don't like it. That's what makes me mad.
Nobody says a damn word about the NBA taking Chinese money and then the NBA shutting down Daryl Morey when he made a comment on Twitter about the Chinese and the human rights violations. And your boy LeBron James doesn't say a damn word when that money is rolling in. But all of a sudden, these guys want to go for a better life and more money and financial freedom. And all of a sudden, they're the worst people in the world. This country is built on hypocrisy, and some reason we just want to pile it on, Bryson. I mean, not Bryson, well, mostly Bryson, but Phil Mickelson. But I feel like Dustin Johnson's kind of getting away with this a little bit. I don't know why. Maybe just because they can't pick on him because he doesn't care. Like, he publicly doesn't care. He's like, I don't care what you think about me. He's been that way for the better part of a decade. Like, he's like, I don't give a damn what you think. So it's kind of like if a bully is making fun of you and it doesn't hurt you, then the bully almost kind of stops making fun of you.
Ha! That's a fair point. My worst is actually going to piggyback off yours.
Okay.
Because it could have been my best at the same time. Phil Mickelson shot a plus 11 at the U.S. Open. This comes a week after he joins a league where he had just badmouthed the people a few months ago. The at least where the money's coming in from, the whole political aspect of it. He goes in there, shoots a +1. He wasn't even in contention because the Schwartzel guy won it. It was miles ahead of that, ahead of Phil. Then Phil comes about the U.S. Open, shoots +11. I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. Go ahead, play your LIV. Apparently you're not good at golf anymore, but you're still going to get paid millions and millions and millions of dollars for sucking. So I thought it was great, but
isn't that the American dream?
No, it's got to make my worst because as a sports person with pride, this has to be eating him alive right now. He shot a +1 in his debut when he's the big name, and now he shoots a +11 the U.S. Open. Yeah, rest in piss, Phil.
He doesn't care. I don't know. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You guys continue to take shots at Phil. He doesn't care. He clearly couldn't compete on the PGA Tour.
He's a hypocrite.
How is he a hypocrite? How?
Then wasn't he the one who said, "Oh well, Saudi people are evil people," and all of a sudden now he's in this league?
It's not
He was
quite
the
what
one
he
who
said. He
he's
said, "Look, they're not the
reason
greatest of."
this is a controversy.
He's not there. He said they're not the greatest. They haven't done the greatest of things. But if
Yes,
they can,
he is the
if he
reason
can
this is a whole
use leverage,
controversy.
he can use leverage on the with the Saudis against the PGA to make the game better. He's going to do it.
It's
Like,
not making the game better. It's awful.
It's been 1 week.
Okay, and they've already stolen 4 names. And according to Tony Johnson, who's a golf purist, he's watching it like this is stupid.
It's
a money grab.
It might be, but we weren't there back in the 1930s when the PGA established itself either. So, I mean, major tournaments don't just pop up and they're like largely.
But if you're joining strictly because someone offered you $25 million, to me it's like, well, do you love the game you're playing? Because I don't want to watch it if it's like the NFL and NBA thing. I don't want to watch you if all you're playing for is money. I want to watch you because you're wanting to win.
For in the NBA, they're not playing for anything other than money. You look at these guys. Jimmy Butler's the guy you root for the most, and he's the worst of it.
That's my point.
So then why do you continue to root for Jimmy Butler and guys like
Jimmy
that?
Butler actually cares, but the new generation doesn't care.
No, he doesn't. If he cared, he wouldn't act like a diva and a crybaby to the coach.
I remember him making a max contract.
What does it matter if he's on max? They're all clearly overpaid for what they provide to the country.
But they still actually, no.
Look, and the thing is you shouldn't be mad at Phil Mickelson. You shouldn't be mad at Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson has won 6 majors. He has won over 20 tournaments. Actually, I think he's won over 40. He's done everything he needs to do. He's done everything he needs to do in the PGA, and someone offered him $200 million to go be a spokesperson for a new league. Dustin Johnson, same thing. Brooks. So what if he sucks? That doesn't fucking matter. His play has no impact. You have to look at the guys like look at Charles Schwartzel. He's a Masters champion. He's not going to be able to compete on the PGA Tour. He just won $4 million in a weekend where he didn't have to play against the greatest golfers in the world. You made a bad point just now, by the way. You said that they make more money than what they're worth. That's not true. If someone watched me go work security at a bus station, I would make millions of dollars. I don't play sports, so I don't deserve to make that kind of money. That's
if
not how it works.
If no one's going to watch me, then I'm not worth that much.
So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your worth.
I don't care.
Stop it. You're completely missing the point. I didn't say you're not worth your value to society is not worth it.
I mean, if my free time is spent watching them, I guess it is worth it for them, right?
Yeah, but the minute they stop, the minute you price these people out of the market, there's going to be some problems real quick.
See what the PGA did to us. See what the LIV did to us.
I have no problem with. I don't particularly even care for the LIV, but to sit here and just to sit here and just use that and be the schoolyard bully when you have a major tournament going on it's absolutely ludicrous and childish. And they need to spend more time pumping up the guys who are still there than just forcing Rory to be this beacon of optimism and think that that's going to matter in the long run. Like I said, look at these guys. Charles Schwartzel, major champion. Brooks Koepka, if he goes, 4-time major champion. Bryson, I think he's won 1 or 2. I think he's won 2.
He's up monster, yeah.
But what I'm saying is these guys don't have anything else to play for. Like, what are you playing for in the PGA? You're not going to win 14 majors. You're not going to win 14 majors. You can play for Pride and LIV. Money matters, man. Money matters to people, and that's fine. But you still have a PGA Tour. Let's focus on the fact that there's still a PGA Tour until all of a sudden these guys feel like, well, only thing that's getting covered is the LIV. Why don't I go over there? I mean, Rory can stay as long as he likes. That's fine. But I think eventually a lot of these guys are going to jump. Colin Morikawa, there's already rumblings that he might jump. Like, he's only won, 2 majors? They don't care. They don't care
because
anymore.
They suck in the PGA, so they're going there now.
Colin Morikawa is a 2-time major champion. How does he suck?
2-time? Really? Well, those guys who have won 14? Where's the pride there?
No one's catching Tiger. No one is ever catching Tiger.
But we thought no one would catch Jack, though.
No one caught Jack. He's still 5-3 behind Jack.
But Tiger got 14, though. It's still nice.
15. He's got 15.
You get it, though. Hey, what is your best? What is your best?
No one's catching them. No one is catching him. So take the money. I get it.
What is your best?
My best is kind of tongue-in-cheek, and it's hockey Twitter and the world's overreaction to 2 Stanley Cup Finals games. Yes, it's just amazing to see. I mean, like Sammy said it, in the beginning of the series, the Avalanche are 180 to win this cup. They're minus 180. At least they're minus more now, but to get the start of the series, Like, and we're acting. Yeah, Vasilevsky has looked atrocious. He's not getting any help. They're having problems getting the offensive zone. But the Avalanche did exactly what they were supposed to do: win the first 2 games. I don't care if they won 21-0 and 28-0. Still 2 wins. That's all that matters.
Oh, the football score still was good. That was good.
Well, they put up a touchdown last game.
That's
so
what I mean, yeah.
Look, the series doesn't start till the home team loses, and Game 3 is going to be pivotal. We know that. The back's against the wall, but this is exactly what happened in the Rangers series, and everybody was ready to ride out the Lightning again. So let's see what happens. Hockey Twitter is amazing at their ability to just overreact to little things. Like,
that was your best?
It's tongue-in-cheek. I said that.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys something happy here. And kind of high, if you know what I mean by Colorado. So the Mammoth did win Game 3, coming back from 2-0 to win the NL championship. Denver Broncos have Russell Wilson. The Avalanche are up 2-0 in the Stanley Cup final. And Nikola Jokic will get, hopefully, a healthy Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray back next season. So if you're smoking weed up there in Colorado and you're watching sports, you're having a pretty good time.
So let me ask you a question. I don't want to go down this too far, but why is this Denver gets Russell Wilson all of a sudden make them Super Bowl contenders? I don't think they are.
No, if you watch the show when we did our thing,
they still might finish 4th in the West, even with this team.
No, I don't believe that they got that much better. I don't believe they did. They got a quarterback, which is fine.
I love Russell Wilson. Don't get me wrong. I love Russell Wilson, but let's not act like they're going to just leapfrog the rest of the division with Russell Wilson, who's come off a pretty putrid season.
Yeah. I agree. I like first 8 games Russell Wilson. I don't like Russell Wilson like that.
That's fair enough. I like that. That's a good point.
Okay. Well, we're going to skip the commercials. Is that fair?
Nah, put them in the commercial. We got time.
Well, that's fair enough. When we come out, we're talking about Fanatics. And, of course, NFL and some Stanley Cup. We'll be right back. The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah. You want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com.
Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
If you want the best sports merchandise from your favorite team and players from every league with daily deals, you've got to go to MikeandAaronDrive.com, and then you got to do what, Mr. Aaron?
You got to click the F.
I click the F. And today's daily deal on Fanatics is 30% off autographed memorabilia. So if you're feeling a Tom Brady signed whatever, or anything they have to offer, when you click the F, the Fanatics experience is at your disposal. So make sure to go there. Don't use their NFL shop or NBA whatever store. Go to MikeandAaronDrive.com, click Fanatics logo, get your autographed memorabilia, and shove it in my face because I'm broke right now. But thank you for supporting the show and supporting your team.
Not only that, when we reach 1,500 followers, we're going to do a giveaway courtesy of Fanatics. Currently sitting at 1,311 followers. So if you are not
Pretty
following us
bastards.
while you watch this, please make sure you follow us at AM Drive TV on all the socials, but especially Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's pretty much it. Stanley Cup Game 3 and some Game 2 reaction here. Aaron, I know you made a great point by saying even if it was 21-0, it's still 2-0 early. That's it. That's the score right now. It's not 7-0, it's 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you feel about Tutty being putting up on old Vaseline?
Oh, don't ever say that again. A tutty?
Oh.
That was awful. I mean, it's obviously not great. I can't pin a lot of this on Vasi. Two soft goals. Now let's be honest. I didn't watch the third period, so I didn't see the 2 goals at the end. But Vasilevsky has given up way too many rebounds, and I look at that as a product of the way Colorado's playing. They're almost playing for the rebounds. You look at the way Josh Manson ended up actually scoring on the play, but he looks like he's shooting in attempts to get a rebound. You look at the way Burakovsky is there at the front of the net getting the rebound. It just falls right on his stick. Like right now, the puck is bouncing the right way for the Avalanche. And rightfully so. They're playing with ferocity. They're playing with intensity that you would like to see from your team. And the speed is actually coming out. I have to give a Vice golf clap to Sammy Action. I mean, the speed doesn't usually prevail in these situations, but Tampa has no interest in finishing checks right now. It's insane to watch. That all being said, again, nothing matters until the home team loses, and we have Game 3 tonight. We will see how this goes. Like if Colorado can just do this anywhere they go, and the crowd's taken out early, like you got to tip your cap to the Avalanche. I mean, I've said it all along. They are the best team, and looking back on it, or in hindsight, obviously, like the prediction in 5 and even in 4, no offense, it was just silly. It was just silly. I mean, it was some rose-colored glasses a little bit by the way that Tampa Bay was playing and the fact that they had been there the last 2 years. But right now, it looks like Darcy Kemper's outplaying Andrei Vasilevsky, and the Lightning are doing exactly what I said, minus the Makar goal late, which didn't matter. But they're shutting down Nathan MacKinnon, who has 1 assist, and they're shutting down Cale Makar, who has a cheap nobody cares goal. They're doing exactly what I said they should do. The problem is the rest of these guys are stepping up. Valery Nichushkin is playing out of his mind. Of course, it's in a contract year, so he's about to get paid. Andrei Burakovsky's got 2 goals in 2 games, like including the game winner. So they're getting help from the secondary players, which it's what you didn't want to happen. But if it does happen, they're just too good right now. But this series is not over. Tampa Bay has to play in the offensive zone a lot more than they did in Game 2. And Andre's just got to find a way to eliminate a lot of the rebounds right now that he's giving up. And it's becoming a problem because not only do rebounds, produce second chance opportunities, they also make it harder for you to get the puck out of your own zone. And that's become the problem right now for Tampa. So we'll see what happens tonight. And obviously, if Tampa goes down, this series is pretty much over.
Are you more impressed with Colorado or more disappointed in Tampa Bay not executing?
So that's tough to say. I mean, it's hard to not be impressed with the way Colorado's playing because they're coming out playing exactly the game that they wanted. The only time they did not play the game that they desire is when Tampa Bay got back in and tied the game up 3-3 with some nifty plays by Kucherov and Palat. And so I look at the situation is if Tampa Bay doesn't have an answer for the way Colorado wants to play, they got no shot. But the thing is, they're doing exactly what I said would be the key to success, and it's still not working right now. And that's shut down Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar. And they've done that. For all intents and purposes, they have pretty much done that. So what they're going to have to do is figure out how to finish checks and make this a physical, slow series. And I think that falls on Maroon, that falls on Killorn, that falls on Cirelli, that falls on Corey Perry. And it's going to have to fall on guys that traditionally have to just forget about even trying to put the thing in the thing right now. They're going to have to rely on Point, Stamkos, Kucherov, Cirelli, and probably Hedman. Hedman's got to get it going too. Right now, I said he was the better option than Cale Makar, and he has proven me completely wrong so far. And even though Cale Makar is not really playing that well, he's playing that much better than Victor Hedman right now.
Oh, wow.
A lot of defensive whiffs too. Like Ryan McDonough's playing out of his mind in a bad way right now. Eric Chernak's not playing. Like they're trying to get the puck out of the zone and they're just whiffing. Like completely whiffing on pucks. Like they are worried so much about what's going on in front of them rather than just playing sound fundamental defense. And it's bit them in the ass so far.
Game 3, who wins?
Tampa wins a low scoring one, like 3-1, 2-1, something like that. They have to win. There's no other option here at any point left in the season. You have to win this game. You're at home. You're going to have the fans in your corner. They're going to be rooting for you because they're in desperation mode right now. And I think it's something like 3-1, 3-2, something just gutsy, gritty, kind of let out a exhausted sigh right after the game. But like, hey, we're not out. We're still in this 2-1. And then anything's possible at that point going into game 4.
This almost feels like earlier in the playoffs when Tampa Bay just had a bad game, and then I said this feels like a 2-0 kind of game, and it pretty much was. You think they blank him? You think Vazzy goes crazy?
Well, for 3 straight years, they didn't even lose back-to-back playoff games. And in the last 2 series, they've lost the first 2 games. So, again, let's not rule out Tampa like the rest of hockey Twitter and the NHL world. I mean, yes, the Colorado Avalanche have played out of their minds. They deserve all the flowers right now. And that's what my buddy was telling me. He was like, look, man, I don't like the way the Messier and Chelios are talking. They're just slobbering all over the Colorado. I'm like, they have every right to. There is nothing positive to say about Tampa Bay right now. So I'm usually one that doesn't try to listen to a lot of the intermission talk or the color commentator, but I have no problem with what everyone is saying and swooning over Colorado right now. But that might be the best time. This is going to be a legitimate Stanley Cup, like, for either team who wins this. And it's going to be even bigger because if it's a three-peat, a lot of people have put asterisks on their other 2 cups, which I think is ridiculous. But if Tampa Bay can find a way to come back and win this one, it would shut up a lot of people. I've got a lot of saved tweets for Old Takes Exposed. Let's put it that way.
I love it. You're like me. He's just like me. Okay, cool. Rumor has it, NFL edition. Travis Etienne, and what if I told you this? There's a rumor that Travis Etienne will be used like Deebo Samuel is in San Francisco. So can Travis Etienne, Jacksonville's really first-year running back, are you buying the trust in a rookie who came off an injury, or are you saying, hell with it, let's go?
So I understand they want to release him and turn him loose in terms of, obviously he missed the first year. He's got, familiarity with Trevor Lawrence. But, I mean, are we just forgetting that James Robinson is still there? Or are we just forgetting that they signed Christian Kirk to a massive deal? They have Zay Jones, who they picked up, Chenault, Marvin Jones Jr., Evan Ingram they got from the Giants.
Yeah, I thought Chenault was supposed to be the Deebo guy.
He is. He's just not. He hasn't panned out so far. I'm just saying, like, Travis Etienne is almost feels like Tariq Cohen more than Deebo Samuel. Like, I don't know if he's big enough to run between the tackles like James Robinson. He's going to catch passes out of the backfield, but, like, if you're saying that he's like Deebo, I don't see him lining up split out as much as Deebo does. And Deebo was put into the running back's position out of necessity, not out of trying to become a gadget-style offense. He was put into the running back position because every single running back in the stable in San Francisco fell apart. So I don't necessarily think that this is going. I mean, you could say utilize him like Deebo. I mean, if that just means lining him up at running back and wide receiver, then there's so many of those in the league. So I don't understand necessarily what it means used like Deebo, because Deebo thinks Deebo was used way too much. So I don't see that happening with. Well, he did. That's why he wanted to be traded. He thought he was used way too much and wasn't compensated properly. So I don't see. I see a niche really having a hard time forming for Travis Etienne. I don't think he's going to be a 3-down back. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. We'll see.
I want to know why my TV keeps turning around over here. It's kind of weird. Rumor has it, Drew Lock not being a quarterback one already is telling. Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer says that the fact he hasn't passed a proven guy in Geno Smith yet is kind of bad. Like it feels. Do you think it's too early, or do you feel like Geno sucks, and Drew Lock's still splitting first team reps with the guy?
Well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like Denver was so butthurt about having to give up Drew Lock in this Russell Wilson deal. Like, let's be honest. Drew Lock hasn't done anything to say that he deserves to be a number one quarterback just off the get. Geno has familiarity in the offense, but let's not forget, Russell Wilson came in as a third-round pick that no one ever had any intention of him starting, and he beat out two quarterbacks. Like, it's June. It's June. Let's calm down a second. Like, do I think ultimately Drew Lock will be QB1? No, not necessarily. But the reason I think that is because, I mean, you can back me up or you can disagree with this, but I don't think Seattle has any interest in competing this year.
Pete Carroll said the quarterback room needed this, and I'm like, that's a weird statement to say after your guy who won 2 rings, left. Or he won 1 ring, right?
He won 1 ring, yeah.
One ring. Okay, cool.
1 ring. But like you said, okay, it's cool to have a quarterback competition, but again, we've talked about this. If Baker Mayfield somehow is on the dump truck for pennies, they'd go after him in a heartbeat.
Also, rumor that Jimmy Garoppolo might be released, so the 49ers ain't got to pay him.
Oh, they got to pay him something, but yeah.
Well, not $24 million.
No. That's a tough one, too. I don't know. Well, you can't feel good about yourself going into the season if you haven't really figured out your quarterback spot.
If you haven't figured out if he's better than Geno Smith, you might as well just burn the place down for the season.
But who said that? Albert Breer? Like, what does he know? Like, maybe they're running first-team offense 50-50 because they don't want you to know who the quarterback is. Like, I'm not giving up on Drew Lock. I still think he has a rocket arm, and if he can find the right system, a lot of this is right system. I mean, the NFL has proven that year in, year out.
It's proven that the last 20 years with a certain guy.
Yeah, Peyton Manning. Yeah, he didn't play 20 years.
You schmuck.
What? Tom Brady has won Super Bowls with 2 teams just as many times as Peyton Manning has. And anyways, I don't want to go down that road. But my point is that why should Seattle show their hand right now? They're clearly 4 out of 4 in one of the best, if not the best, divisions in football. And nobody's walking through that door. Like, Russell Wilson's not walking back. Peyton Manning's not walking in. Like, what does it matter? What does it matter about Drew Lock? Like, it's telling. That's what you wrote here on the headline. Telling me what? Like, Drew Lock, we know Drew Lock's not a franchise quarterback. He was a 2nd-round pick. He didn't fare super well in Denver, although I thought he had flashes. And I don't think that Geno Smith winning the job would be really that telling, because I personally don't think Seattle has any interest in competing.
Ugh. Let's leave the other 2 rumors for tomorrow. I know you won't be here tomorrow, but hey, just because we have 2 more things to get to, unless you want to keep on going. I thought you were to leave.
Whatever you want to do, man.
Rumor has it Devin Allen, the Eagles wide receiver they kind of signed off the homeless bridge, is, I'm going to say he's risking injury because he's running a bunch of track in the offseason. He even was quoted as saying that, I'm ready to play NFL one season, and then in the offseason I'm ready to play track. I'm like, I don't know how confident I feel this guy's going to stay healthy with the wear and tear on his body. What are your thoughts on, what you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? Because I don't like it.
What's not to like about it? I mean, why should the
He's
Eagles really
track
care?
In the offseason.
Good. He should
At
be.
a high level.
He should be. This has happened before. This is not like a first time thing. I mean, he is every athlete is risking injury by just simply working out in the offseason. By simply doing anything really in the offseason. I mean, look, Ben Roethlisberger crashed his bike in the offseason. They had to write a clause in his contract to say, stop riding bikes ever until you retire. Like, anything, you can get injured by doing anything. I mean, Robert Edwards injured himself, career-ending injury, playing beach volleyball or beach football, whatever it was, at the Pro Bowl one year. Like, this guy is probably their wide receiver 5 at best. I don't think they care that much. It probably has an injury clause in his contract that can void him, so let him do it. If he's still healthy in the main, the regular season, great. If he's not, it doesn't cost you anything. Like, this guy's fast. How many fast guys have we seen come into the league and it doesn't work out well for them? For every Tyreek Hill, there's a bunch of John Rosses.
Yeah, John Ross. That was the name I was looking for.
Like I said, so for every Tyreek Hill, there's a John Ross and probably 3 to 5 more of them, too.
No.
This cost them nothing. Let him live. They look like a positive organization for letting him live out the other part of his dream. And there's no risk. There's no risk to them.
That's a fair point. I like the contract point. If there's a contract clause in there that says, hey, don't do this crap, or if you get hurt, it's on your time, I get it.
If he goes off for 2 years of 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns, and he all of a sudden is making $15 to $18 million a year, yeah, you better believe they're going to say, before you sign this deal, you're done running track, at least while you're an active. That's a little different. Like, Miami has no interest in letting Tyreek Hill run track. Or, oh, I'm sure he absolutely could. But I'm saying, like, DK Metcalf, remember when he was running in Olympic qualifying, and Seattle was like, we don't like this at all, because they were about to pay him.
Right.
It matters. This money matters. LIV golf, hashtag.
What? Rumor has it Deshaun Watson, according to the Washington Post, may get more than a season suspension. They call it significant suspension. They say some in the league argue he should even be gone until the lawsuits are done, which has been speculated to take till 2025 if it goes long. Aaron, what is your thoughts on this? Because we're seeing that we're getting closer to Roger Goodell. Hammer down! And there's also, I know they have like some deputy commissioner, but let's be fair, Roger Goodell's going to make this decision.
Of course he is. It's a huge, monumental decision for the league and for the future of guaranteed contracts, for sure. I believe if I had to make a choice right now, based on everything that's going on, and if the judicial system is dragging its feet on this, that's very unfair to Deshaun Watson. I think that's, and look, I'm not defending Deshaun Watson by any stretch of the
imagination. It's unfair to him.
But the right to a due process and a fair trial, especially one of someone's celebrity nature, should be expedited, 100%. And I think that the problem is that the NFL wants the judicial system to drag its feet here. You spelled Deshaun wrong, by the way.
Oh, wow.
That being said, I think Deshaun Watson will not play football this year. I think his contract will be voided by the Browns. And hot take alert, Baker Mayfield will be the starting quarterback for Cleveland in 2022-2023.
I'm with you as long as he can put his own ego aside.
I think ultimately when at this point no one has, if we're in August and no one has any interest in kicking the tires on him, he's coming back. Ego will go away, 100%.
That's a fair point. This is like your last show, by the way, for a long time, ain't it?
Probably, unless I get COVID again.
Don't do that. So this is an interesting thing. We're going to go with a thing called unretired. Carson Palmer, his number 3 jersey, might be, it is going to be out from the rafters of USC. A kid named, oh, good Lord, I wish I could have to click on that. You know that Addison kid? The Purdue,
Jordan Addison.
Yeah, Jordan Addison, the transfer, who's got 60 catches in each of his first 2 years in college football.
And he's from Pitt. He won the Biletnikoff last year.
Yeah, from Pitt. Now here's the thing with this. There's takes that this is based off the NIL kind of thing because we're getting players all this power. And there's also speculation that this might end up being a pattern of people just saying, screw the legacy of these numbers, if it means that much to a player. I know Carson Palmer had to sign off on this, but let's say he didn't. Do you still think USC drops that number?
No, I think that when they make a decision to retire a number, nothing should come in the place of making an exception for that number except the person whose number you retired. That is unfortunately why I believe that no number should be retired. You can retire players all day long. Like, I understand the NHL 99 is retired, nobody can wear it. That's a little different because that's done from the league and not a specific team. Like, I believe that the Penguins have retired 66. They're probably going to retire 87 when that's done. The Tampa Bay has retired 26 and 4 with Saint Louis and LeCavalier. Like, I don't necessarily agree with it. I honoring players, retiring players in your Hall of Fame, your Ring of Fame, whatever you want to call it, 100%. But there's only a finite number. Look at the Yankees. Like, nobody can wear a single-digit number on the Yankees because they're all retired. They're all retired.
And people don't understand, what if a guy comes along and he's better than the one who got retired?
Well, that's irrelevant. The problem is that, like, okay, let's look at like the situation with like Babe Ruth. Say somebody who comes along and say Mike Trout signs with the Yankees and says, "I want to wear number 3." Like, obviously Babe Ruth isn't giving him his blessing. So what are we looking at? Like the grandkids of Babe Ruth, like, and then say the grandkid of Babe Ruth's a twat. Yeah, I don't want you wearing my grandpa's number. Like, what are we doing here? Like, let's stop retiring numbers. We can retire players. But, I mean, like I said, if Carson Wentz doesn't give you his blessing, then you just got to move on. I mean, you would hope that Jordan Addison's – I mean, he already committed, basically, it sounded like, before he got the 3. But this isn't an NIL thing. This isn't a player empowerment thing. This is totally fine. And if Jordan Addison would have been that petty to not sign with USC because of the number 3, then it's more telling on his character than really Carson Palmer's.
That's my thing. I feel like this may look bad on Jordan Addison at first, but he probably was just like, "Hey, Carson, can I wear the number 3?" And Carson said, "Yeah." This probably was a nothing burger that turned into something like filet. Well,
Well, there was a big deal back in the day when I think it was Samari Roll for Florida State wanted to wear number 2, and that was Deion's number. And Deion at first was like, "Nope, you can't do it." And finally, he came around, kind of met with the kid, Samari Roll, and really grew to love him and take him under his wing, and of course gave him number 2. If you don't know Samari Roll, you know the story of Myron Roll. It's Samari Roll's kid. Myron Roll is the guy who played for the Titans, who ended up becoming a Rhodes Scholar and a doctor and everything, and now is out of the league. He's working in the medical field. This is an incredible story, but that was his dad, Samari Roll, who played for Florida State and really had beef with Deion right off the bat until they became really good friends, and he ultimately gave up the number. Like, I haven't really seen any major spots where like the retired number, just like the guy who owns it or the guy who it's honoring, is like, absolutely not. And Carson Palmer's does right by his school. Hey, who do I care? I know I wore number 3, but here, let him wear it too. We can share the honors. There's no way what Jordan Addison's going to do in 2 years is going to say anything better than Carson Palmer winning the Heisman at USC.
I want to get into one more thing here, because I'll put it this way. I feel like we're doing the 45-minute quota here. Here's another thing here I have a question for.
Okay.
There is the Jets first rounder from Ohio State, Garrett Wilson, found out on a podcast that he's going to have to take a bunch of veterans out to dinner, and him and some other rookies. And the veterans are going to try to run up the check, and he's going to have to pay the bill. Well, him and his buddies are going to have to pay the $50,000 bill.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, because this is technically hazing, in a society where people literally get murdered because hazing goes too far, do you think it's okay the NFL holds on to this? This seems really weird that for years and years the NFL has never gotten rid of this stuff. It's weird to me. It's hazing, which is at the expense of somebody else, whether it be death or money. And you're telling me, I mean, it seems like an old tradition from terrible. It comes across as a terrible tradition.
Stop.
Okay, so if somebody gets killed, is that a stop from you or what?
You're comparing someone having to buy a $75,000 to $100,000 dinner. The guy's getting $20 million guaranteed. The guy's getting a $20 million guaranteed contract.
But what about the other guys?
We're not talking about shaving his head, putting itching powder in his jockstrap, hanging him from the goalpost.
Itching powder on the jockstrap would be funny.
We're not talking about those forms of hazing, which actually got kiboshed a while back, probably 10 years ago. This is a completely harmless type of hazing. Now, if you choose to take like I can read the transcript here from, he said, look, they told me about it. I get to take all these guys out to a dinner. I'm cool. I'm going to be excited for that. And one of the guys, Clark, I don't know, it's Fred Taylor and a couple other guys. He goes, it's not going to be cool. And Fred Taylor says, they're going to run that bill up 75 to 100K. And Wilson just sits there in silence. He says, nah, they could do me for 75, but not 100K. So, it's and then the guy says, you got 20, they know you got 20 million guaranteed. And the one guy, Crowder, says he thinks it's his decision. Exactly. This is harmless. They're going to go out to a nice dinner. It's a sense of camaraderie. I mean, I actually think if they didn't do this to you, you've probably pissed them off already to a point where, or if you pissed them off already and you're a bad teammate, they might take it to a tune of like $250,000 at this point. So
I love the camaraderie thing.
I don't think this is a form of hazing that to me is completely fine and honestly probably needed. I mean, this is a spot where the team gets together, they bag on, and he's not the only one. It looks like all of the rookies are combining to pay for this dinner, the blank check dinner, as they like to call it. So I don't see the problem with this. I think you're trying to link it to bouts of hazing that people commit suicide off of, or fraternity hazing and things like that. And I think you're completely off base with this.
So maybe I shouldn't call it. Maybe I read a headline and it was wrong. Maybe it's not hazing. Maybe it's just a fun thing to do.
I mean, even the article you sent me, Jets first rounder Garrett Wilson learns just how real the rookie dinner is. Like, no point of there is hazing. They're calling it financial hazing, which, I mean, if they like took his money and dumped it into a stock and the stock went down, all of a sudden this guy's broke. Yeah, that's a problem. That's actually, I believe that might be like money laundering or embezzlement. That's an actual felony. Like, this is fine. You're overreacting to just the fact that the word hazing is, in there. Like, here we go. Taylor proceeded to tell Wilson about his days as a veteran with the New England Patriots when the entire team treated itself to dinner on the dime of a group of 10 to 12 rookies. He estimated the bill came to around $60,000, primarily thanks to Tom Brady buying a $5,000 bottle of wine just to take one sip.
That was dumb.
I think that's awesome. I mean, it's look, they do this. And look, and again, if didn't they have 3 first-round picks? They had the kid out of Florida State, Johnson, Sauce, and this guy, Garrett Wilson. So let's be honest. Even if it's a $100K dinner, he's not footing the entire $100K bill.
Ooh, that's gonna be
Now that 6th-round rookie having to take care of like $60K bills, that might be a problem. That might be his entire check.
Go to drink a wine like that?
There's a lot of restaurants in Vegas for sure.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of places in Vegas that you can
they
easily.
Charge you $5G for that?
I mean, I don't know about $5G, but probably $2,500, $3K. The Ace of Spades, I think, is like $3 or $4K wine, or it's champagne or whatever.
Have you done it?
No, I haven't done it. I don't spend my money on stuff like that. I have had Ace of Spades before, but that was just because I was being a nit and siphoned a small glass off of somebody who bought it. But I don't spend that kind of money, but I do know I have run with some people who have had that kind of throwaway money before. So.
You said you were being a nit. Please explain that to me.
Okay, so a nit is a poker term for somebody who hates putting money into the pot. Unless they have like the best hand of all.
So it's kind of like a cheapskate, right?
Cheapskate, nit, you can call them whatever you want. Yeah, but that's the similar.
I'm gonna write that down. My little slogans learned from Aaron, and nit is gonna be on there.
You got it, buddy. It's all yours. No copyright.
Is it? How do you spell it? Is it just NIT?
NIT, yeah.
Fair enough. Any last thoughts on sports? I mean, this has been a fun show. I get a lot.
Absolutely. No, I mean, it's let's go Lightning in Game 3 and
see you in August.
Well, we'll see. I mean, you never know. There may be a day where let's hope I don't get COVID again. And it'll be late July. It'll be late July. And by the time you see me, if you don't see me before in late July, Baker Mayfield's your starting quarterback and Deshaun Watson suspended for a year. Cheers.
You guys have a great day. AM Drive TV on Twitter, YouTube. Well, I wish it was not yet on YouTube. We have to get like 100 subscribers, I think. Is it 100 or
We're still on YouTube. You got to subscribe for us. Like people.
Yeah, like I was saying. We're up to like 24 last time I checked. So thank you.
Maybe we should do a giveaway if we get YouTube subscribers. Once we get to 50
or 100. Yeah, I think
do 50 to start because I think we're at like what 25, 26 right now.
Yeah. So let's say whatever happens first, the Twitter or the YouTube. I don't want to do both. I feel like that'd be dumb.
Yeah, we'll do them both. When we get to 1,500 Twitter followers, we'll give away one. We'll get to 50 YouTube subscribers. We'll give away another one.
How about they have to be subscribed? How about they have to be one of the YouTube subscribers though?
Okay, we'll figure that out. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Fair enough. Thanks, Aaron. We'll see Sammy tomorrow. For those guys and me, you all have a great one. Drive safe, please. Goodbye.